I'm Augustino Fermata. I'm here with Steven, and we are the Touchdown. So, this week we're going to be talking about week 2 coming up. Week 1 was an exciting week. A lot of interesting events between the Raiders pulling off a victory without AB, AB becoming a Patriot, not playing against the Steelers getting blown out of the water by the Pats, crazy Monday night game versus Texans and the Saints, where there was another blown call that almost cost the Saints the game. But week 1's a lot different than the AFC. What else happened? Our NFC, we had the Giants get blown out by Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Yeah, and we had an awesome Thursday night matchup. So tonight we got the Carolina versus the Bucks. Who you got?
I got Carolina blowout, but listen, I predicted the Bears to blow out the Packers last week, so don't trust my predictions. But I'll tell you why I think Carolina's going to blow them out. They got Christian McCaffrey, one of the best running backs in the league. They got Cam Newton, who I think is going to step it up tonight, and I don't see much talent on the Bucs side.
No, I agree. I mean, who do the Bucs have that really stands out? They have Ndamukong Suh, who they replaced Gerald McCoy with, which I don't think is that big of an improvement. I was surprised by that. Jameis Winston's off. I was big on Jameis Winston. I thought he has a lot of potential, and he was always just that close, and he's sort of just been that close for 5 years now, 4 years. But yeah, I think if they take the stress off of Cam Newton by really just stressing Christian McCaffrey, pulling a Giants thing, they have Christian McCaffrey, who I think is one of the most underrated running backs in the league.
I would agree. I would definitely agree.
That kid is something else because he's Le'Veon Bell in Le'Veon Bell's prime in the sense that he is as good as a receiver as he is a runner.
Right, but more jacked too. He's bigger.
Dude, he's just shiftier.
Yeah.
He might not be as powerful as Le'Veon Bell was, in between the tackles, but man, he's something to be messed with. So I think utilizing him will help Cam Newton a lot. Cam Newton they were talking about him with the deep ball, if his shoulder's bothering him, and he got all defensive this week in the press conference. But I don't know. I still think, look, we've seen Cam at his best, MVP. We've seen Jameis at his best, a decent season. You know what I mean? So I think they got it. I think it's the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to win by at least 7 points.
I would agree. I think it's going to be more than 7 points. I would go 10 to 15 points, somewhere in between there. Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
Yep.
All right, so other big matchups this week. We got two of the best or up-and-coming mobile quarterbacks with Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray facing off. If you had to build a team around one of those two quarterbacks, who would you choose?
My opinion, I would build it around Kyler Murray. I know we haven't seen much from him, but I think he's more of a two-way quarterback. Even though Lamar Jackson threw for 5 touchdowns last week, it's the Dolphins' defense. So I got to see a little bit more of that. Kyler Murray, week 1, he was really impressive in the fourth quarter. He came back from, I don't know, it was a big deficit against the Lions. I forgot exactly what the score was.
16 points.
It was something like that, yeah. And he looked really good throwing the ball, and he led his team to a tie. So I would build my team around Kyler Murray.
I get it. I think Lamar Jackson's in a much better situation between offensive line, weapons, and just a fantastic defense. I mean, yes, I think Arizona, when Patrick Peterson comes back from his suspension, they'll start to feel their groove a little bit more in defense. But I don't know. I think if Lamar Jackson can develop into a very good thrower and not be week 1's a mirage, I'd take Lamar Jackson. But I just think Kyler right now is more of a pocket passer and less inclined to get hurt. I think Lamar Jackson likes to run and, that old Andrew Luck look where he's just getting lit up and I'm young, whatever. And then he retire at 28 and leave $50 million on the table.
Exactly.
But, all right, let's talk New York football. I mean, we got the Jets versus the Browns, but the big story is that Sam Darnold is out for a couple weeks because – he probably didn't kiss enough girls in high school and got mono. So, but no, I mean, for real, I think without Sam Darnold, it opens up a lot for the Browns because the Browns really do have a talented defense with Olivier Vernon and Myles Garrett coming around on each side. I don't know, is Denzel Ward playing or did he get hurt or something? I don't know, but he was good last year. Yeah. But I think the Browns, they have it on paper. And I think Odell's going to want to come to New York and have a big game with his $350,000 watch on.
Right.
But who do you got?
I had the Browns before Darnold got injured, so I'm still gonna take the Browns with Darnold injured. I mean, they got blown out the first week, and they're like all this hype around them. They have to win this game. It's more of a must-win for the Browns than it is for the Jets. The Jets are always expected to be bad. I don't think a lot of people have high expectations for the Jets this year.
No, I agree. I think if the Jets lose, it's like, oh yeah, Sam Darnold's not in. Browns are a good team on paper. Life goes on. But I think Jets win. It's like, oh wow. Freddie Kitchens gets fired week 2. But all right, aside from that, we got the Giants home opening against the Bills. Who do you got for the home opener in MetLife?
I have to go with the Bills as a Giants fan. It kills me, but we have absolutely no secondary. I don't see how we're going to hold the Bills to less than 30 points. And I think our offense is decent, but I don't think they could score 30 points. So I have like a 30-20 Bills win.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Giants have potential. I mean, I think the issue is going to be defending the deep ball, which is Josh Allen's skill coming out. It's like, oh yeah, the guy can throw 100 yards on his knees, right? But I don't know. I think it's going to be good. I think if we can get a lot of pressure up front, that could change it. Because I don't know if the Bills, their offensive line is that great, and he's still a young quarterback, so pressuring him, and he's a big one of those like big hitter, big miss guys with Josh Allen. So.
Right.
But I don't know. Their defense isn't like too terrifying. I mean, they have Ed Oliver, and they have a decent front.
Yeah,
they got like 5 sacks last week.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good. They're young, like full of like non-known names, but they look pretty good. Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think the Bills are underrated, and I think the Giants are very overrated. And this is coming from a Giants fan, but it's like, no, I'm serious.
I believe it. Yeah.
But like, look at last week versus the Cowboys, and it's like, oh yeah, so we have DeAndre Baker, who like I was super high on. Just get roasted by Amari Cooper for a fade in the end zone.
But to be fair, it's Amari Cooper, and we're putting a rookie quarterback on the best wide receiver on the team.
But it's just like, it's like, oh, shoot. Like, it's this whole thing, he's a physical guy. But I'm worried about him defending the long ball. And I don't know. I think Jabril Peppers needs to step up. Mm-hmm. And we have like a 40-year-old free safety.
Yeah. Oh, Bethea?
Yeah.
Well, listen. No, Antonio Hamilton, number 30. I don't know if you saw him, but that guy was awful. We need to cut him immediately.
I don't even know why he was starting.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
AC Shermer came out. He's like, oh, we're going to be switching up some players. But, like, Dexter Lawrence, and DeAndre Baker each got, like, 30 snaps. And I'm like, those are our 2 first-round picks. Like, I get it. Like, Baker had some knee issues. But, like, you're telling me the next best thing we got is that guy? Like, the special teams player that's like a practice squad player on any other team. Like,
listen, I might be Notre Dame biased, but I don't know why we didn't have Julian Love in there at that cornerback
he's our
position.
Safety, isn't it?
He could play a cornerback or safety, so we could definitely just slot him in there as a slot cornerback where 30 was playing, because 30 was absolutely terrible. He couldn't make a tackle at all. I don't know what he was doing in there.
No, I agree. I'm nervous to see it, but also no. I think hopefully we have a decent but better game. I'll tell you this: Evan Ingram stepped up big time.
Absolutely, he was great. Him and Barkley were great, and I expected that from both of them.
Speaking of Barkley, game plan Sunday.
Get him the ball.
Yeah, what was Shermer doing? Like, Shermer hardly gave it to him. I think he had 16 touches the whole game.
To defend Shermer, though, we were down early. Our secondary couldn't stop anything. So when you get down that much, you can't give the running back the ball that much. Like, you were down 17 points at, like, the beginning of the third quarter.
But he was averaging 11 yards a carry.
I know he was. But if you think about it, like, say we drive down the field easy, which we probably would have, 11 yards a carry. But then the Cowboys are just going to get the ball back, two plays, boom, boom, and then that's it, touchdown.
I'll tell you this, the fact that we couldn't defend them on a single drive. I think they went 5 for 5 with touchdowns. I'm like, what? Like, force them to kick a friggin' field goal for crying out loud.
Listen, they were saying this guy, James Betcher, was the next great defense coordinator. He did not look like it in the first game.
No, I agree with you 100%. Last year, I was so high on him because I was reading about him. It's like, okay, he was the coordinator of an Arizona defense that was top 5 every year in blitzes and in sacks. And it's like, oh, wait, like... And he brought over a handful of guys that were like, oh, yeah, like Kareem Martin, who's now out. It's like, oh, we're going to help. And it's going to be scary. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, Landon Collins is like, we're going to be laying it down. And Olivier Vernon's going to come in and be the Terminator. And, you're a Giants fan. And you're like, yeah. We were the 2nd overall pick last year, but we're going to the goddamn Super Bowl, right? And it's like, couldn't even pressure. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, Olivier Vernon's the monster. It's like, yeah, he got hurt. Comes back against Philly's backup left tackle and gets like 2 sacks, right? And Pro Football Focus is like, oh yeah, like he's the man. I'm like, yeah, for $20 million, I'd expect like that against top tackles, double teams, And James Betcher, it's all about exotic blitzes and like creating pressure, and we haven't seen any of that. And it's like, oh yeah, he's a great man-to-man press coverage with his guys, and I'm like,
listen, as bad as the secondary was, the up front we were not much better. Like we got almost no pressure on Dak Prescott.
I think this is I think this is a hot seat for James Betcher. I think really, it's going to be rough because everyone's like, oh, the offense is bad, but the defense is horrendous. And I mean,
and I actually honestly don't know if the defense is bad. They're saying the offense is bad, but I think the offense is pretty good.
I think the offense is a lot better than people realize. I mean, Sterling Shepard's out, I think, this week with a concussion.
Right. Golden Tate has a suspension.
But come week 5, I mean, everyone's sort of used to playing with each other. It looks like the line got fixed. That's the biggest thing. Like, the O-line did not look bad on Sunday against an awesome pass rush from the Cowboys. And it's like, I think we have a shot. I mean, we have no O-line depth, which is terrifying. Like, our 2 tackles are, like, old veterans that have injury history, right? And, like, our center is a 6th-round pick that played 2 good games before breaking his leg last year. And we have a left guard who's I love. I think Will Hernandez is going to be a stud for years. And we have a right guard in Zeitler.
Yeah.
Who's a monster, but he's also like 30-something years old. It's like, oh, what do we...
Listen, I'm not going to lie. Our O-line played decent. They gave Eli enough time to throw the ball. He didn't get sacked too much. And when he did, it was usually his fault. It was usually on like a rollout play, and he couldn't make anything happen. Have you not noticed
Shermer's had him rolling out a lot?
Yeah.
I think that's... I don't know.
But I don't mind that play call, but just make sure when he does it, it's only Barkley coming out of the flat. So if you cover Barkley, then who are you throwing it to? And Eli can't run. Yeah. So it's a problem. That's why he keeps...
Okay. My biggest issue with Eli in the game last week was on that 1 yard. It was like the 4th and 1 when they were in the end zone.
Yeah, he did a roll play.
And he rolls out. Yeah. And he's like 1 yard away, and he just stops. Yeah. And I'm like, run. Because once you're out of that box, they're going to tear your head off either way.
Right.
And I'm like, Jalen Smith is coming down, and he's just standing there. I'm like, move. It's 1 yard. Like, 31 other quarter. Daniel Jones would have gotten it. I mean, maybe he would have fumbled, but that's a different conversation. But you know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's going to be a good week matchup, and I'm excited for New York football. Giants fans every year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always excited, but I'm always let down recently.
Yeah. No. Now I'm like, I'm looking forward to them, and I'm like, just because it's football season. You give me 6 wins, I'm going to be going crazy. I'm telling you, just win at home. Let me go to the games. I'm going to the Packers game in December.
Okay.
I'm going to the Eagles game in Week 17. I'm like, just win those 2 games.
We never beat the Eagles. I don't know how to tell you that.
Just win those 2 games. I want to go. I was at the Bears game last year when they won in overtime. I'm going wild. And then I'm like, wait, crap. Like, it's going to mess up the draft. So...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hopefully we build more throughout the draft, and it's going to be a good season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Until next week, this is Augustino.
I'm Steve.
And thank you for listening to The Touchdown.